Hi everyone, welcome back to the video series where we're aiming to create a simulation of a robot that sorts boxes by color into, cubes by color into their corresponding box. So I've already created a cube over here and a box, red cube, red faded box. So now I'm just going to show you how to create the cube. It's very simple. The first thing that we need to do is go to the Add Primitive Shapes cube, and this is where we can adjust the size. First, let's just create it by the default size, which is like this. And then if we double click on it over here in the scene hierarchy, we get to the scene object properties. We click on geometry, and here's where we can adjust its size again. So I'm just going to make it half smaller by half. So I'm going to change this to a 5 and 2. So now it's 0.05 meters. And there it is. Now we're going to adjust its color in order to make it blue. Using this. Okay. So that's a nice blue. You can adjust colors in different ways, either by RGB or HSL. And also adjusting its transparency. That's also an option. But we're just going to keep it a solid blue. So a box is a collection of primitive cube objects. Each size is a different cube object, and then we merge them at the end to create the box. So for this purpose, we're going to have to click Add Primitive Shape Cube again, but this time we're not going to have equal sides. So the X size, we're going to make it, we're going to assume that that's the thin part. So we're going to make it 10 times smaller. For the Y, we're going to assume that's this side. So we'll keep it 0.1 meters. And then for the Z, we're going to make it double the size. So we're just going to place a 2 over here. And now we have this object. So now we're going to rotate it, copy paste it, move it in order to obtain this shape. So first, let's start by rotating. So we're going to rotate about the Z dimension. It's in its own frame, which is this little arrow. Sorry, that's the X. So we're going to rotate about the X dimension, this arrow, by 90 degrees. As such. And now we're going to copy paste. First of all, we're going to just move it out of the way over here. And now we're going to copy paste it. Okay, so now we've got a copy. So this, and they're overlapping. So now we're going to rotate the copied version about its Y dimension by 90. Sorry, not the Y dimension. We're going to do I think the Z dimension. Well, now it's all a bit different. So let's try the Z first. Okay, yeah, that. And now we're going to move it in order to move it to the corner. So we're going to translate by 0.01 as such, and then on the X we're also going to translate by 0.1 as such. Okay. And now we're going to copy this as well, and we're going to now move it by minus 0.2 in order to place it over here. There. And this again we're going to copy, and we're going to move it by 0.2, I believe. There. And now we're going to just have to create the bottom part. Oops. Okay, so now we're going to create the bottom part of the box. We're just going to copy any side and paste it again. So there. And now we're going to rotate it again in order to make it flat, facing upwards. Like this. And now we're going to drag it downwards. So we're going to translate it downwards. I believe that was along its own frame. Sorry, we can do the world frame by the Z dimension. And that would be minus this. Minus 0.05, I believe, there. So now it's facing the bottom. Now we need to place it in the middle and stretch it. So to translate it to the middle, we can translate it along the world's x dimension. So it's going to be minus, sorry, we're translating, not rotating. So minus 0.1. So now it's in the middle. And now we will change its geometry in order for it to cover all the bottom of the box. So we double clicked on it and then we click geometry. We remove keep proportions because we don't want it to necessarily. So if we say keep proportions and we change this to 4, all of them will change. It will just change in size. We do not necessarily want that. We would like it to become just bigger in one of the dimensions. So this we will change to 2. So now we will have 0.2 by 0.2 as such. So now it has a square shape. And now we have a collection of shapes that form this cube, but we want to group them in order to become one single shape for us to change its properties and move them together. So we select the sides of the cube and the base, and then we right click, we click edit, group or merge. So what's the difference between grouping and merging? If we group them, then they will become a group of shapes. If we double click on this group of shapes, then we're able to still adjust the properties of each of these sides individually as such. So if we click group, and now if we double click on this, the visual properties are edited individually for each side. They can have different colors, different textures, anything. We're not necessarily interested in that. So I'm going to click ungroup and I'm going to merge them instead. Merge selected shapes. You're about to merge pure and non-pure shapes and it will result in a non-pure shape. That's fine. And now we obtain this shape. So now if I double click on this, now it's considered to be one object. So any visual property is going to be shared by all of these. So now I can change its geometry. For example, if I want to make it bigger, I can click on, let's say 4, apply. Now I just have a bigger box. And if I want to change its color, let's say I want to make it blue, I can adjust all the sides in one go rather than changing each one individually. So now I'm just looking for a nice blue hue. I think this will do. And now we have the blue box. Let's say we also want a yellow one. So now I'm just going to copy this and I'll just change the color to yellow or green. Okay, let's say green. Or if we look for the yellow hue as such. As such, yeah. And now we are also going to copy the box and change the color over here to a faded yellow. as such. And we're just going to drag both out of the way so nothing overlaps. And we'll just place these randomly. So this is how to create objects in a scene and change some of their properties. We're going to be adding a camera into the scene, exploring the camera options, and sending an image from CoppeliaSim into MATLAB in order to do image processing on it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below, and thank you for watching.